Hello, everyone. My name is Amy. I'm a single parent and I live in the UK. And I have a fantastic YouTube channel planned. But as I was busy making some videos and plans in the background, we have landed ourselves in this pandemic. And I thought we just need to jump in. We need to jump in and start sharing the information we have, especially if it can be helpful to others. So, again, I'm a single parent. I have two children. They are 13 and almost 9. I work from home and I home educate them. So I work from home with a child minding business in my home. For those of you in other countries, it's like just having a daycare in your house or like being a nanny but in your house instead of theirs. Now, during this particular crisis, childminders are meant to close their business, and I am open to one family because both parents are key workers. So I am going to be working twice a week and trying to keep this virus at bay. But as far as I know, for the next couple of weeks, um, this child will be the only one coming into my home. And we are trying to stay indoors to try to prevent the spread or curtail the spread of this virus. So I'd like to share with you some ideas and tips and hints from my many years of home educating, from being a single parent, from living on a low income, and anything that I can possibly share. And the most important thing I think that I need to share with everyone is that we need to have a change in our lifestyle. We need to be slowing down and we need to be connecting to spirit. So this is going to be essential. So as a spiritual healer, I need to share some of this information with the world as well. I would like to just start with sharing how we're just going to get through each and every day. It's helpful to have the rhythm to the day. This is how we've been living for years anyway, and we are going to make some slight changes given the circumstances. And in that way, we're not allowed to go out to do our normal home ed groups and meetups at playgrounds and meeting our friends and things. But it's all more important now for everybody to take care of themselves and then to take care of each other. So if we center ourselves and connect to spirit and do our own healing, then we can spread that to our family, and then we can spread that out to our neighbors, and then we can spread that out to our village or our town, and then on and on and on. And so part of my daily practice is to start in the morning with my own personal prayer, connect with spirit, and I do that with a prayer or meditation. And then I can also use books, reading from the Bible, using daily devotionals, journaling, any of those kinds of things. I'll share more of that in another video about my morning basket routine. Then later on in the day, I also, especially about mid-morning or so, I'd sit down and do a meditation which sends healing to the world. And at this moment, we need to, have this healing for the world. So, and then later on in the day, I might do another. And in the evening, I do another meditation to just sort of release any negative energy and come back to peace and calm after the day's events, and being really bombarded with information on the internet which might be negative or scary, just to release that fear, because we don't have to be afraid. We can walk forth with trust and truth and love and confidence that Things will be okay. Now, it's not to say that things might not be painful or that we might not suffer loss. It's just that things will be okay. We will be okay. And if we can live in that truth, then it will happen. Um, as we get in tune and in line with spirit, then our life just unfolds in a way that is okay, that is uplifting, that is fulfilling. I just feel filled with spirit, filled with love, and then able to share it with others. So, I'd like to share a little bit of our actual daily routine besides the spiritual aspect, which underpins everything else. So in the morning, I've been using the Flylady system. I would say using is a bit of a strong word. I have been attempting to use the Flylady system and studying the system for about 6 months, 7 months now. I'd heard of it years ago. And then for the last 6 months or so, I've been actually trying it, and especially I truly believe that the Fly Lady has been sent by God. She is absolutely lovely, and I highly recommend looking, especially even if you don't follow any of the daily routines and cleaning system. I highly recommend you either get the app or look on her website every day for her like words of wisdom and her daily sort of letters and stuff. She also has YouTube videos that you can watch, and she's posting quite a lot lately, and she's just sharing that love and that encouragement to the world. And the most important thing that I got out of her writings and things is that we need to look after ourselves, and then we can look after our homes, and then that spreads. And I just think it's such a beautiful message to say we don't need to be perfectionists. We don't need to be cleaning all day. We need to spend time with our family. We need to spend time pampering and nourishing ourselves. We need to spend time in the week nourishing our spirit. I believe we need to nourish our spirit every single day, several times a day. And the other person who, again, I just feel like has come into my life at just the perfect time. I mean, God has just divine timing, is Diane in Denmark. Now, she has YouTube videos, and she has loads of videos on all the Flylady system and the baby steps and all of the different techniques and zones and all. The Flylady system is a bit complicated, but there's a lot to it. But she breaks it down really nicely. There are loads of other YouTubers doing Flylady system, and you feel free to search around and look at what they're doing, because people resonate differently. I talk to people and I say I love Diane in Denmark. It might be because I'm living in Europe and she's living in Europe and she's Scottish, and maybe there's just something about her that is helpful to me that I can kind of resonate with. And there are many other Americans and in lots of other countries. So find somebody, find a kind of cleaning household guru that you like. The other woman I really love is Cass Clutterbug, clutterbug.com. She's amazing, and that has made a big difference in my organizing style, because she thinks that everybody has different organizing styles. And I am a ladybug, and as I make these films, hopefully you can see that, so any ladybugs might be able to take a few tips from me. I don't know. So I have, going back to Flylady, I have this is my control journal. It's not necessarily meant to be fancy. You can make it in anything you like, but I'm changing my daily routines because of this current situation. And so I've been I've been living this for a couple of days, and now I finally decided to write it out. Let's see. So my general routine is actually I get woken up by my cats if I haven't woken up with the alarm 6ish. And lately that's been sliding because I haven't been working as much. So in the days I wasn't working, I've been just not putting my alarm on and waking up by 6:45, 7. So not much of a lie-in for me, but that's partly because my cat is really persistent. So I then found that lately I have been feeling kind of sluggish in the morning. So I'm trying to go back to going back to my morning routine, which is what they always say, like Flylady, Dan in Denmark, they're always saying, just keep up with the routine. Just keep doing that morning bit because it just keeps you going rather than just feeling like sluggish for the rest of the day, rather than saying, oh, well, we can be a bit more relaxed about it. So I have personally found the last few days that it has not been in my favor to skip any of my routine. Anyway, morning routine is I feed cats, get a hot drink, and then I usually come back to bed or sit on the sofa with my morning basket, which is my journal, my apps on my phone that do my daily devotionals, Bible reading, things like that, the Divine Office, for instance. So I have those items, and then I can do prayer, I can do reading, I can do writing. And I do that as long as I can until 7, unless I have to work at 7, because I do start work quite early with children arriving quite early. So on those days, I have to curtail it a little bit and get up and get dressed and get ready for people at the door. So I have my hot drink of prayer and just spend that time connecting, thinking, planning, setting my intention for the day. After that, I do it's very typical Flylady system of, as I bathe or wash or get dressed and brush my teeth, I then do a swish and swipe in the bathroom, nice clean, just a quick wash of the basin, the toilet, anything that needs just a wipe down, and a load of laundry if I need to do that. And then I am dressed, and a chore. Sometimes I try to make sure I do a little bit of a chore in that time because it's easier for me to do, especially if it's just going to be 15 minutes, a quick chore then. On the mornings I'm working, it is making sure that the floors are clean because I have cats and visitors can quite easily end up with, there's cat hair on the sofa or on the floor. So I make sure the floors are clean because I have babies, crawling around and things. Then for now, when I'm on the days I'm not working, I can then spend the morning doing whatever I like. So it can either be working on a project, going out in the garden, making sure I get into the garden, then making a video, spending some time reading. Last weekend, I went through all of our books. We did a huge cull, and so now I have a big pile of books for the charity shop when I can get out to the charity shop. So just going through some of those books, and I have this stack of books that were ones that I haven't quite finished. I'm not quite sure. I read most of it, or I want to pass it on to somebody specific. So I have this whole pile of books that I don't need to read all of them. I just need to sort of check and see whether I'm keeping it or whether it's going. So those kinds of projects. I have not yet gotten to the bigger projects. I have a larger number of projects around the house. Everybody does. For instance, I want to paint the stairs. Now, I'm not sitting down to do that now. We've had a big shock to the system these last few weeks, and so I'm taking it slowly. So in the middle of the day, lunch, make lunch, clean up, In the afternoon, if the kids want to do a video or kids want to do something together, we can do that. Get outside again, either in the garden, even if it's only 15 minutes if it's not nice weather, or we're still allowed to go out and walk as long as we keep our distance and don't touch anything. That right now it's so important to stay inside as much as we can, not because we're afraid of the air, but because we're afraid of passing the germs to each other. So just to protect each other, we need to stay inside or stay in our gardens as much as possible. Then in the evening, about 5 o'clock, I ask, and this is a regular thing, I ask the kids, okay, we're going to get ready for dinner, so just let's tidy things up. Let's tidy the toys away. Let's just make sure that if there's any drinks or cups or whatever from upstairs that they've been taking to the computers and things, that they bring them downstairs. We clear off the kitchen table if we've been playing games or doing arts and crafts and things. Clear that off, set the table, make our meal, enjoy our meal together, and then clean up. And in the evening, so what we've decided, because we do have a lot of spare time. Now, I have not mentioned anything about home education until now, partly because my kids are older and they're doing a lot of things on their own, but partly also because we're a relaxed family with home education normally, and now it's even more relaxed because of the situation we're in. Now, during April, I usually don't do a lot of formal education in April, in August and December, and that's because August I feel is our summer holiday. April is full of sort of Lent, Easter activities, and December is full of Advent and Christmassy activities. So I want to make sure that we have that special family time to do those things, sit down and even just talk more, pray more, and share some fun activities as well. Normally we'd have more outings. So given that April is coming up very soon, I've decided we're just going to be a bit more relaxed about this at the moment, because if you add to your own stress, then if something does happen, if we become ill, we're starting from a stressful place. So if we can return to this peaceful place each day, it makes it a little bit easier. And trust me, your kids won't really miss out if they miss out on a few weeks or even months of their formal education. They really won't miss out on much. Kids learn all the time. They're learning from cooking together, reading together. If you're reading stories to them, they're learning a massive amount of vocabulary. If they're reading for themselves, again, the same. Lots of books now are full of mythology and historical fiction and things like that, and kids are learning every day. So we want to start from a place of peace and relaxation, so that we have that same love and peace to give to others. So we have decided we are doing a lot more family movie nights. We also read to each other. I quite often read, especially to my older child. We spend a lot of time, a lot of evenings, just reading fascinating books to each other, and sometimes they might do a craft or something as I'm reading. It's just a nice cozy time to be together, which is nice as they get older, because they don't want to spend much of the day with me. They want to spend the time on their screens or with their friends or what have you. So I really cherish that time that we spend together. So then we tried to start the movie night or game night or family reading or what have you about 6:30. So between 6:30 and 8:30. And my kids like to stay up a little bit later than I do. But I am encouraging this to start early so that we're finished by 8:30, so they can brush their teeth and wash and tidy up their rooms and things, and then go to bed early. Because I need it. I like to have lights out by 9. This is what I'm aiming for. This is no, it doesn't always happen, but we're working on that. So it's a nice rhythm to the day. There's loads of hours. There's the morning hours and the afternoon hours. I have a lot of flexibility. We're not sitting down at the table and saying do this and this and this and this, because I've just noticed over the years it's not an easy way for them to learn anyway. It's easier for them to do as many minutes at their activity as they feel able and willing, and the information goes in a lot more smoothly. So whether that's 5 minutes of math one day and doing a whole entire math workbook the next day, that we just follow that rhythm. So for now, I'm also just following my own rhythm, and that means on some days I might get up and do an hour of cleaning and tidying and things like that, and then other days I might be reading my book for a few hours. So one of the things that the Flylady system helps with is that it helps regulate that, so that you're not necessarily doing an extreme of, which I used to do, reading all day with no chores and dishes piling up, and doing all sorts of cleaning for a whole day and then collapsing for 3 days afterwards. So having that rhythm of saying, right, let's do 15 minutes of this. Let's clean our bathroom, just wipe the sink and the toilet and what have you every morning. Let's clean our dishes and sink area every night. So those are your sort of bread and butter, your beginning and end. And 15 minutes of this, 15 minutes of that each day. So my daily focus is changing as well. I will do videos on what my normal routine is, but this is what my daily focus is for now. So Sunday, I started Saturday, which for me was a couple days ago. I started with the living room, because the first thing you need to do is make sure that there is a room in your house that everybody can go to and feel calm. Everybody can gather. And then, so tidy it. So I tidied the living room. And then each evening, I made sure before I went to bed, I spent like less than 2 minutes tidying it up again. But that is because I didn't have the toddlers with their toys and things. But even when the toddlers' toys are here, it's 5 minutes. The toys go in the cupboards, the dishes go to the sink, the books get piled up. I'll show you my living room in a moment. I'm in my living room now. Most of the books live here in this nice, in theory, dust-free environment. And I'll see if I can show you my living room now. So there we go. Now, the other day I have on top of my piano, partly from my trying to organize things the other day. It's not perfect. This room is not perfect. So, and there's dust still. Now, on this chair, I just put this there last night actually. That's a whole box of items we're doing some crafts with. And we have the torches in there. So this is not a perfect room. It's not completely dust free. I try to sweep and hoover as I want to, but I don't want to do everything just completely perfectly clean at the moment. What we're trying to do is just make it a nice clear space for everybody to gather, so that we can, in the morning, I walk downstairs and I can sit down on the sofa and read my books and have my tea. So I also have, or did I do this one? Hold on. I have my crosses and things like that. It's a bit of a work in progress. So I can sit here and relax, and any time of day I can come back and sit here and relax. And it only takes a couple of minutes in the evening to tidy up our treat wrappers and our mugs and things. And then when I get around to it, I can sweep and hoover as well. So I'd love to do a video on some of the crafts and things we're doing. We are planning a steampunk party for my 8-year-old when she turns 9 at the end of April. And I don't know if we're going to be able to have a party then, but I have told her that we will have a party at some stage. But we need some steampunk craft decor. We need some steampunk stuff. So now is a perfect time to do it. So I will work on that later, and then hopefully I won't have those boxes sitting around anywhere, let alone my living room. So I'd like to just share with you for now, because I feel like that is quite important, and to spend some time thinking and connecting to spirit. So for today's sharing, I would like to share this that I read this morning. It's a Catholic Woman's Book of Days by Amy Wellborn. I got this from Amazon, amazon.co.uk, but I believe she's American. And I'd like to share with you the reading for today. Now, today, in my world, it's the 23rd of March. And it starts with a quote from Ephesians. But God, who is rich in mercy, out of the great love with which he loved us, even when we were dead through our trespasses, made us alive together with Christ. And she goes on to write, I went to a traveling exhibit of Vatican treasures, which included the finger bone of Pope Pius V, complete with a papal ring. The exhibit was in the basement of a museum complex, and hordes of viewers, listening intently to their audio tours, streamed past. In the Cloisters Museum in New York, you can walk along paths and under arches that hundreds of years ago heard the prayers of monks and nuns. It always saddens me to see expressions of a living faith reduced to museum exhibits. But what about my faith? Is it an exhibit I take out to display, or is it a living relationship with the real person, Jesus Christ? And she adds a prayer, Lord Jesus, live in me. I believe that now is a time to take out our faith, dust it off, and live it. This is a trying time, and it's going to be a miraculous time. I believe that we are going to see amazing things, and amazing goodness will come out of the trials that we are enduring at the moment. So I will be drawing on a lot of my Catholic faith. I have studied a lot of things over the years, New Age things, other religions, but I usually come back to my Catholic faith. I don't always follow everything that the church says, but I would like to take this opportunity to draw people together, and perhaps be a bit of a bridge to connect people together. We need to work together in this world at this time. It's the time is now. So I wish you well, and I hope you can come back and get some other tips and words of wisdom, and also share your own words of wisdom for others out there who might be struggling or finding this time difficult. and I hope to see you again soon.